All right, welcome back. This is episode 3, the Or Trap, Why You Are Stuck. If you're here, hopefully you've done the work. Episode 1, you notice or thinking everywhere. Episode 2, you found a stuck or question, asked the 6 and questions, wrote your and statement. And you probably noticed something. The and statement felt relieving, like pressure releasing, like suddenly you could breathe, like options appeared that weren't there before. But here is what I want to talk about today. Why were you stuck in the first place? Not just why does or thinking happen, but why does it keep you trapped in the same problems? Why do you keep cycling through the same conflicts? Why do the solutions never quite work? And why does it feel like you're running in place? Well, here is the answer. Or thinking doesn't just create problems. Or thinking creates self-reinforcing traps. These are loops that you cannot escape because the solution you try, it reinforces the problem. So today, I'm going to show you the mechanism, how or thinking creates the exact problems you are desperately trying to solve, and why choosing a side is what keeps you stuck. This is about to get uncomfortable because I'm going to show you that most of your problems, they aren't really problems to solve. They're traps to escape. And the way out isn't choosing better. The way out is seeing the trap itself. All right, let's go. So here is how the or trap works. Step 1, reality presents complexity. A relationship with good and difficult aspects. A job with fulfilling and draining elements. A part of yourself that's strong and vulnerable. A decision with multiple valid considerations. This is normal because, well, life is complex. Step 2, your brain demands simplicity. Well, your survival brain can't process complexity. Too slow, too nuanced, too much uncertainty. So it does what it does best. It simplifies into binary. Is this good or bad? Should I stay or go? Is this right or wrong? It reduces complexity to an or question. Step 3, you choose a side. So let's say you choose side A. You commit, you act from A, you defend A, you identify with A. Step 4, side B doesn't disappear. Here's the problem. The rejected side is still true. You rejected it. But reality hasn't. Oh no. So what happens? Well, side B starts manifesting. An example, a relationship. A complex reality. This relationship has deep connection and communication problems. The or question, is this relationship good or bad? You choose. It's good. I'll stay. What did you reject? The communication problems. What comes next? Oh, you guessed it. Communication problems don't disappear because you decide the relationship is good. Oh no, they escalate. They demand attention. And they create a crisis. Now you're confused. Well, I chose to stay, and I committed to it being good, so why is it getting worse? Well, it's because you rejected half of what's true. And rejected truth doesn't disappear. No, it intensifies. Step 5, you swing to the other side. Okay, you're fed up with the problems. You flip. This relationship is bad. I should leave. Now, you're on side B. Well, what did you reject? Well, the deep connection. Okay, well, what happens next? Well, you leave. You're alone. You remember the connection. Oh, you miss it. And then you doubt your decision. Maybe I gave up too soon. Maybe it was actually a good thing. Oh boy, now you're confused again. So, step 6, the endless swing. You swing back and forth. Okay, if I stay, I reject the problems. The problems intensify. Then I leave. All right, well, I leave. I reject the connection, but then the loneliness intensifies. So you return. Return, oh, you reject the problems. The problems return, you leave again. It is endless, it is exhausting, and it's never resolved because this is the or trap. Not just having a problem, but being trapped in a loop where each solution recreates the problem. Because the solution is choosing a side in a false binary. And choosing a side always rejects part of what's true. And rejected truth, oh yeah, it always returns. Stronger and louder and more undeniable until you stop splitting. Until you hold and. Let me show you this pattern in 5 domains. Here are the traps that most people are stuck in. Trap 1, the authentic or professional trap. The or question. Should I be authentic or professional? Side A, choose authentic. Share your feelings at work. Express opinions freely. Dress how you want. Be real. What you rejected? Well, professional boundaries, strategic communication, and appropriate context. Well, what happens? Well, you say something inappropriate. You might overshare to a boss, possibly damage relationships, maybe get negative feedback. So you swing to side B. Professional. You suppress everything. You wear the mask. You play the game. You fake it. What did you reject? Your authentic self, your values, and your truth. So, what happens? Well, you feel dead inside. You lose yourself. Resentment builds. Burnout approaches. And then you swing back to authentic. Swing back to professional. Forever. It's exhausting. The and exit. Well, I can be authentically professional. I can express my truth in professional, appropriate ways. I can be myself and respect context. Both matter and both are possible. Now, you're not swinging, you're integrating. Trap 2, the strong or the vulnerable trap. The or question. Should I be strong or vulnerable? Side A, well, choose strong. Don't ask for help. Handle everything yourself. Never show weakness. Be the rock. Well, what did you reject? Just your needs, your limits, and your humanity. So what happens? You get burnout, you get resentment because you do everything, isolation, no one sees the real you, and collapse eventually. So you swing to side B. You become vulnerable. You share everything. You lean on everyone. You fall apart publicly and need constant support. What did you reject? Well, your capacity, your strength, and your resilience. So what happens? You feel weak. You lose respect, that of yourself and others. A dependency develops, and then your identity is broken. Well, swing between invulnerable and falling apart forever. Okay, so the and exit, strength includes vulnerability. Asking for help is strength. I can be strong and acknowledge my limits. I can be vulnerable and maintain my foundation. Both together create wholeness. Trap 3, the rational or emotional trap. The or question, should I think or feel? Side A, choose rational, logic only. Suppress your emotions. Be reasonable. Facts matter. What you rejected? Well, your emotional intelligence, your intuition, and your felt sense. What happens? Well, you miss important information because emotions are data. You make logical decisions that feel wrong. You disconnect from yourself. Others experience you as cold. You swing to side B, become emotional. Well, feelings are truth. You don't think, you just feel. You follow your heart. Intuition only. What did you reject? Clear thinking, analysis, and rational assessment. What happens? Well, you make impulsive decisions. You ignore red flags. You get hurt repeatedly, and you cannot learn from your patterns. You swing between overthinking and overfeeling forever. The and exit? Well, my emotions inform my thinking. My thinking clarifies my emotions. I feel and think. I use both. They serve each other. Integration, not domination. Trap 4, the self or others trap. The or question, should I focus on myself or serve others? Side A, choose the self. My needs are met first. I set boundaries. Self-care priority, say no. What you rejected? Connection, contribution, service, and interdependence. What happens? Isolation, guilt, am I selfish? Meaninglessness, what's it all for? Disconnection. You swing to side B, others. Everyone else first, no boundaries, self-sacrifice, can't say no. What you rejected? Well, your needs, your limits, and yourself. So what happens? Depletion, resentment, martyrdom, burnout. The swing between selfish and selfless, forever going back and forth. The and exit, I serve myself so I can serve others better. I serve others, which fulfills my need for meaning, self-care, and other care. Both are necessary. Both are valuable. It is an integrated service. Part 5, the acceptance or change trap. The or question, should I accept what is or work to change it? Side A, you choose acceptance. So you surrender. You let go. You don't resist. It is what it is. What did you reject? Well, your agency, your power to influence, your responsibility to act. What happens? Passivity, tolerating the intolerable. Things will get worse, and powerlessness. So you swing to side B. You change. Then you fight everything. You force outcomes, attempt to control all variables, and make it happen. What you rejected? Well, reality as it is, natural timing, and what you cannot control. What happens? Exhaustion, pushing the river, frustration, and brittleness. Swing between passive acceptance and forced change forever. The and exit, I accept what is while working towards what could be. I honor reality and act to evolve it. I surrender to what I cannot control and use my power where I can. Both, always. Now, the pattern across all 5 or creates a trap. Choosing a side rejects half of truth. Rejected half returns even stronger. It swings to the other side, and then it repeats forever. You never escape until you see the trap, until you hold and. All right, well, here's the cruel part. You can't solve an or trap with more or thinking. So, an example, you are stuck in authentic or professional swing. Your mind tries to solve it. Maybe I need to find the right balance. Maybe I need to be more authentic. Maybe I need to be more professional. Maybe I need to choose once and for all. All or thinking. Keeping. All of this is keeping you in the trap because you are still assuming that the answer is choosing correctly. But the trap isn't that you're choosing wrong. The trap is that you're choosing at all. The trap is the or itself. Here's an analogy. You are in a maze. You try left, it's a dead end. You try right, it's another dead end. You try left harder, but it's still a dead end. So you try strategic right, it's still a dead end. More effort doesn't help. A better strategy doesn't help because the problem isn't your path choices. The problem is you are in a maze. The solution isn't better navigation. The solution is seeing that you are in a maze and leaving it. It's saying with the or traps. More analysis doesn't help. Better decisions don't help. Trying harder doesn't help. Because the trap is not bad choices. The trap is the or framework itself. You cannot think your way out. Because thinking is, well, what keeps you in. You need a different operation. Not better choosing, but seeing the trap. Not an improved or, but a shift to and. This is why people stay stuck for years. Same problem, different iterations, because they're trying to solve it within the framework that created it. Einstein explains this very clearly. You cannot solve a problem from the same level of consciousness that created it. Or thinking created the trap. And thinking reveals the exit. But your mind doesn't want to hear this. Your mind wants, well, just tell me which side to choose. Just tell me the right answer. Just tell me how to decide better. Because your mind is or-based. And or-based minds can only see or solutions. This is the prison. Not the problem itself, but the lens that you are using to see the problem. The good news? Well, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And seeing it is freedom. So, how do you know you're in an or trap? Well, here are the signs. Sign 1, the pendulum swing. You keep reversing a position. You commit to A, you swing to B. Back to A, back to B. Each time feels like, oh, finally I've got it. And each time fails eventually. And the pattern repeats. If you're swinging, you are in an or trap. Sign 2. Both choices feel wrong. You analyze both sides. Neither feels complete. Both have fatal flaws. Both leave you dissatisfied. If both options feel wrong, the or itself is wrong. Sign 3. The problem returns. Well, you solve it, the problem goes away. A few weeks or months later, the problem returns. It's a different form, but it's the same essence. If the problem keeps returning, you are treating symptoms of or, not the trap itself. Sign 4. Other people can't help. Yeah. You ask friends, half say choose A, half say choose B. Everyone has a strong opinion, and none of it helps you. If external advice doesn't resolve it, the or frame is the problem. Sign 5. You feel split. Part of you wants A, another part wants B. Internal war. Can't integrate? Choosing the one feels like betraying the other. If you internally split, you are externally forcing split. Sign 6. Exhaustion without progress. You spent months or years on this, endless thinking, constant effort, no resolution. You're probably tired. And if you're exhausted but stuck, you are in a maze, not a problem. When you notice these signs, stop trying to choose better. Start asking the or. Ask, what if this isn't A or B? What if the question itself is the trap? What if both are partially true and I need to hold both? What am I protecting by keeping them separate? What and statement would honor both? Now, this shifts the frame. This reveals the exit, not through better choosing, but through seeing the false binary. Example, you are stuck in a stay or leave relationship. Years of analysis, endless pros and cons lists, you can't decide and you're just exhausted. The recognition, I am in an or trap. Okay, so what are our new questions? Well, what if this isn't stay versus leave? What if I can stay and the relationship must evolve? What if I can commit to working on it and be clear about my limits? What if I honor both the connection and my needs? The and statement, I stay and we address these issues. I commit and I have boundaries. I love them and I honor myself. We work on it together and I know when enough is enough. Both matter. Do you feel the difference there? Because the pressure releases, the options expand, and you're not swinging anymore. You're integrating. And that is escaping the trap. This week's work is different from our previous ones. You're going to become a trap spotter. Your assignment, day 1 to 2, identify the trap. Find one or trap that you're currently in. Look for the 6 signs. Pendulum swinging. Both choices feel wrong. Problem keeps returning. Advice doesn't help. There is an internal split, and you are exhausted but stuck. So write it down. I am trapped in blank or blank. Now, day 3, map the loop. Document your swing pattern. When I choose A, what happens? What gets rejected? What returns to haunt me? When do I swing to B? Now, when I choose B, what happens? What gets rejected? What returns to haunt me? When do I swing back to A? Now, do you see the pattern? Do you see the trap? Day 4, the 6 questions. Going deeper. Now that you see the trap, ask what limitations exist. The or frame itself, the forced binary, the false choice. What does it block? Integration, wholeness, creative solutions, both, and possibilities? Now, what does it protect? What fear keeps the binary in place? Fear of complexity, fear of uncertainty, fear of responsibility, fear of being wrong. What belief drives it? I believe I must choose because... Now, the possibilities. You can't have both. Life is either or. Commitment means choosing one. Uncertainty is dangerous. I must be consistent. Now, question 5. What wants to emerge? When you stop forcing the binary, what integration appears? What and statement wants to be born? What creative third option exists? What changes when it does? And then how do you act differently from and? And what becomes possible? How does your life shift? All right, day 5 to 6, write the and statement. Create your trap exit statement. The format: I am no longer choosing between blank or blank. I recognize that both are partially true. My and statement is: this honors both. It rejects neither, and it creates wholeness. Example: I am no longer choosing between authentic or personal or professional. I recognize both matter and they serve each other. My and statement is: I can be authentically professional, expressing my truth in contextually appropriate ways, being myself, and respecting boundaries, honoring both values and my effectiveness. This honors both. It rejects neither, and it creates wholeness. Day 7. Live from and. For one day, every time the old or appears, notice it. Oh, there is the or trap again. Return to and. Well, both matter. How do I honor both here? Act from integration, not splitting. Journal at the end of the day. What was different acting from and versus swinging an or? Now, this is the practice. It's not understanding the trap, but recognizing it in real time and then consciously exiting. Please do this before episode 4. So here's where we are. Episode 1, we discovered or thinking is everywhere. Episode 2, we learned why or feels true but breaks down. Episode 3, today, we saw how or creates self-reinforcing traps. What's ahead? Well, in episode 4, physical and metaphorical, about how reality actually speaks. This is the bridge episode, where we move from understanding and cognitively to reading and in reality itself. What will you learn? Well, the physical form is symbolic teaching. It's not separate. How to read what reality is showing you. The ear, your gut, trees, the rivers, everything is information. Metaphorical literacy unlocked. But you can't get there without this episode's work. So please, do the work. You need to recognize your or trap. Map the swing pattern. Answer the 6 questions. Write your and statement. Live from and for one day. Because episode 4 asks you to see, is reality literal or metaphorical? And if you're still in or, you will answer that with or. Well, it's literal, materialism, or it's metaphorical, it's idealism. And miss the and. It's both, simultaneously, always. Form and meaning, literal and symbolic, physical and teaching. You can't see this from or consciousness. It must be in and to read and. So please do the work. Spot the trap. Exit it. Then we can go deeper into how reality itself operates in and, how every physical form teaches, how the world is speaking to you constantly through and. Not literal or metaphorical, but literal and metaphorical as one thing. That is episode 4. But first, just for now, free yourself from the trap that you're in. Then you can see how to read reality. See you there after you have escaped. Oh, one more thing. That wave and ocean question, if you were asking, am I the wave or the ocean? You were in a trap. Swinging between the individual wave and I'm universal, the ocean. Never settled, always split. The exit, I am the wave and the ocean. The ocean expressing as a wave, not separate. One thing, both true simultaneously. Do you feel the trap dissolving? That is what happens when you see it. Keep going and be whole.